Hello and welcome to Happy Horror Time. My name is Tim Murdoch.
And my name is Matt Emmert. Now, not many people can say they've played a descendant of Jason Voorhees, but today's special guest can. She starred as Jessica Kimble, Jason's niece, in 1993's Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday. And get this, she's the one who actually sent him to hell with that magical dagger and an unforgettable over-the-shoulder jump, making her one of the esteemed Friday the 13th final girls. Please welcome to the podcast, Kari Keegan.
Oh my God, you guys are hilarious.
Hi, how are you? And oh my God, repping a Final Girl shirt from our friend Adam Bucci, who does Small Town Weirdo. That's amazing.
Totally. Hey, guys.
Hey, we are so excited to have you on the show. And you know, we always go back to the beginning to try to get people's background before they got into acting. So we read that you were born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So what were those formative years like for you? And how did you first become interested in acting?
Oh, that's an excellent question. I think I basically was born for this because I was very dramatic as a child. I had a huge imagination. I told outrageous, crazy stories. And my mother used to say all the time, I was either going to be an actress or a writer because as Susie was, not in school, she was kidnapped. Which is kind of weird that I'd grow up and do a horror film because everybody met with tragic endings. So it started really, really young. Pittsburgh was a great city to grow up in. I did the usual Catholic schoolgirl. I went to the same school that my mother went to and had some of the same teachers, if you could believe that. And then I was in the very first class of the Pittsburgh High School for Performing Arts. So I went to Catholic school in the morning and performing arts school in the afternoon. Took a bus over there. So it was pretty set in stone, the acting thing, long before my formative years, I guess.
Wow.
And growing up, were you a fan of horror films? Were any on your radar or had an impact on you?
No, I was not. I'm so sorry. This sounds
That's okay.
I hear that all the time. Trust me. Yeah.
Right. No, because horror films are really scary. And I was more the Say Anything and, St. Elmo's Fire. And I mean, they did make one of the biggest horror films in Pittsburgh, Dawn of the Dead, and they had Chilly Billy. So there was lots of that stuff. I just it was really scary.
John Hughes was more your thing.
Yeah, John Hughes is my jam.
Yeah. That's so funny. We say this to a lot of guests that I'd say 75% of the people we interview on this show who are in horror movies didn't grow up watching horror movies or were it wasn't a big impact on them. We noticed that your very first film role was playing a biker girl in the 1988 comedy/drama The Prince of Pennsylvania, which also starred Fred Ward, Keanu Reeves, Bonnie Bedelia, Amy Madigan. So how did you get involved with this project and what was that experience like?
Well, I had an agent in Pittsburgh. So I did commercials in Pittsburgh, before I went off to college and things like that. And I was home for the summer and my agent called me and said, oh, they're doing this movie and I knew who Bonnie Bedelia was and I knew who Fred Ward was, but I had no clue who Keanu Reeves was. Because he wasn't, I think this might have been his second film ever. So they said, oh, you're going to play a biker girl. And I lived next door to some punk girls, some goth girls. So I let them go to town on me. So crimped out my hair and they put me in all these weird clothes. And I wrote my resume in hot pink marker. And I walked in and I threw it down on the desk. And the director's like, that's her. And that was it. Then I got the role.
Wow.
And then this is the Prince of Pennsylvania is one of those classic stories that you think there's no way people are going to believe this. They used a biker band, a bunch of guys that were actually these biker guys the Lords of Hammer or something out of Pittsburgh. And then there was little me there, little blondie Ken over there with these real biker guys, on real motorcycles and things. And it was one of those you can't believe that you're part of something because you're just wait, what? And it was really fun. I mean, I never got to I met Bonnie Bedelia and I met Fred Ward. And obviously I worked with Keanu and I play his pseudo love interest. And it was supposed to just be one scene. And then it morphed into a couple more scenes. We show up at the prom or we show up at the dance and then I show up at the end. So it was actually a really fun experience all in all. But I was just happened to be that girl that was available in Pittsburgh when I think they were casting it as an extra or background performer. And then I just sort of let it morph into more.
That's so cool because so you said you met Fred Ward and Bonnie Bedelia and you were acting alongside Keanu Reeves, but again at that time it was just like, oh, it's just another actor kind of
right.
thing.
Well, he was like, and Amy Madigan. Like I was more interested in because I knew who they were, and Keanu Reeves was just like this young guy like my age, who had this movie, and he was absolutely lovely. We were friends for years and years and years after that. Like we stayed friends and would see each other from time to time. And I was probably, God, like 15 years ago, I was someplace and he walked up to me and he's like, oh my God, Carrie. I'm like, oh, shut up. Like, shut up. Like, how do you even like, like he's a big, giant, huge star. Like, how would you remember me from like 100,000 million years ago? And he is one of the few, not I want to say few actors because I can't. He is as lovely in real life as he is. He's just a lovely human being.
That's like so cool.
Yeah, a lot of people say good
fun guy to work with. He was nice. He was just great. That whole cast was great. I mean, granted, the only one I really worked with was Keanu. So I was more like, get out of my way. Amy Madigan's on the set. Or, oh my God, Bedelia's here. And, of course, obviously, no idea that Keanu Reeves would become what obviously his life exploded into.
Yeah, that's so crazy because 88, when did Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure?
88.
Oh, yeah. So he was really starting.
89.
He was just starting, yeah.
Well, that was like when I went to college in Philadelphia, one of the guys I studied with was old roommates with this then unknown actor called Tom Cruise. And he had done this like, what was the football movie he did before?
All the Right Moves.
All the Right Moves. He had just finished that. He came to Philly when I was in school in Philly. And like I was hanging out with him when we went to IHOP and got pancakes and da-da-da-da-da. And then all of a sudden Risky Business was like
huge
everywhere. And I was like, oh God, I went and had pancakes with that guy. He was really nice too. And like no clue who he was.
That's so funny. You had pancakes with Tom Cruise.
Not many people can
like
say
strawberry pancakes. I had blueberry. There we go.
That's amazing. Well, so moving on to Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday. Now, what was the audition process like for the role of Jessica? Because we read in Crystal Lake Memories that you originally auditioned for the role of Vicky, played by Allison Smith, and also had to play Frisbee.
Okay, so this is funny. Well, it's funny, not funny. I had just moved to LA with my roommate, my New York roommate, and my New York boyfriend. And we signed with this agency, the Gage Group, when we first got here. And I don't know if I should say their names or not. My then roommate boyfriend had auditions for Friday the 13th. And my agent called me and said, hey, I'm going to get you an audition because somebody else that was supposed to audition can't audition because she's sick and you're not really Friday the 13th material anyhow. So just go audition. And I was like, well,
thanks for the vote of confidence from the beginning.
Yeah. Wow. With that one. And he was like, no, don't be insulted. Like the girls in Friday the 13th, they're all bombshells. They're all beautiful, pow girls. And I'm like, well, feeling better every minute we talk. Keep going.
Yeah. This guy needs to be an inspirational speaker.
Right. Throw myself off the side there. So I did. I had the audition for Vicky. I auditioned for Vicky, and then I was the only one that got the call back. And then I went to the callback, and this is how I remember the story. So, I mean, we're talking 30 some odd years ago, so there could be some creative licensing here, but this is how I remember it. I went to the audition. There were several girls for Vicky, and there were several girls for Jessica. And then there was nobody left for Vicky but me, and like 3 girls left for Jessica. And Allison Smith was not part of that crew yet. So I, at one point, when you audition, I don't know if people know this, but when you audition, there's a bunch of people. There's usually the writer, the producer, the director, and a few other paraphernalia people, right? So you walk into a room and you act out whatever scene they want you to act out. And then they usually tell you to leave the room and then bring more people in. So they kept asking me to stay. And then at one point, they just stopped asking me to leave the room because I'd have to leave and so they could talk. Well, at one point, I'm listening to everything that they're saying about what they liked about Jessica's and what they didn't like, what they thought, all that stuff, right? And so then Sean at one point goes, why don't we have her read Jessica? And now I'm like, oh, are you kidding me with this? So they brought in a girl that had read for Jessica and asked her to read Vicky and asked me to read Jessica. And of course, I did everything that they said they wanted to do. Like, the old line, talent borrows and genius steals. So I was like, duh. And then we had another callback, and at that callback, Allison was there, and there were two other girls there that were Jessica Vicky's, and they were mixing and matching all of us. And we were in a big empty soundstage in Culver City, and they asked us to play Frisbee.
Were you like, is there a Frisbee scene in the movie?
No.
Well, what I subsequently learned was Allison had cut herself. So her hand was in a cast. And Allison is petite. I'm nearly, at that time, well, I'm shrinking because I'm old. At that time, I was almost 5'8". And Allison is like 5'5". So we had a big differential. And then the two other girls who I don't remember their names, we're playing Frisbee, and Allison and I are just like killing it, right? We're like, we don't know why we're doing this, but all right, whatever. Well, they wanted, because there's a lot of running and punching and kicking, they wanted to see if we were athletic.
That makes sense.
Wow.
And so the other two girls, like you'd throw the Frisbee at them and they'd be like, oh, so then pretty quickly, Allison and I were just like playing like, flag football Frisbee in this big old soundstage, laughing our heads off. And then that was that. And then I had another callback where, Sean said to me after that audition, this was a Friday too, and this was pre-cell phone. So we're talking like most of the kids here don't even know what that means, pre-cell phone. Like you had to wait till you got home and get a landline and call your agent. And this was at like a 4:00 on a Friday. And Sean Cunningham said, oh, you're definitely in the movie. We just don't know which role we want you to play, Jessica or Vicky. And of course, I was like out of my freaking mind. I was like, are you kidding me with this? And so I drove home and I called my agent. I said, I'm totally in the movie. And then he yelled at me like, don't say that. You don't know that till there's contracts. They tell you all kinds of stuff that's bullshit. And I was like, okay. And then he called me Monday and he was like, I can't believe that I'm going to say this. You've got the lead. And I was like, oh, shut the fuck up. And he's like, and you have to go in today at 3:00 to read with the Stevens. And I was like, and I didn't really have the whole script at that point, but because I just had the roles between me and Vicky and I didn't have any others. I didn't know I didn't know anything about this. I didn't know I was Jason's niece. I didn't know anything. So I go in and there's a whole bunch of guys there and I walk into the room and they're like, yay! And I'm like, yay! And then I said, there's only 3 things that my mom wanted to know, like as every mother would. Do you die? Do you swear? And are you naked? And I said, I don't die. I do swear and I'm not naked. And then they all was like a hush. And I was like, and they said, well, there's a little shower scene and da-da-da. I'm like, oh, I don't do nudity. So and I like started to get up to leave. Like, clearly you're going to not give me this job. And then Sean's like, oh God, don't be silly. Da-da-da-da, sat down. So then we just started reading and I read with a bunch of different guys and John and I it was as though we knew each other our whole lives. So it was really funny. Like when Sean came in and like there was a little break and we were like just chatting back and forth between each other. So that was that.
That is awesome. We had talked about how IMDb trivia has a lot of facts that aren't always correct. So wanted to ask you one that we read that said that Laurie Holden, who went on to star as Andrea in The Walking Dead, was director Adam Marcus's first choice to play Jessica, but Sean Cunningham overruled him and pushed for you to get the role. Do you know if this is true? And did you know any of this at the time?
No clue. Actually, this is the first time I'm actually hearing this.
Really? I mean,
wow. No, and again, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, everybody has who they want for things. I only knew that it was ever between Allison and I, and the reason that I got the role over Allison was sheer because of height. It didn't make sense that that the lead would be petiter than the girlfriend. And I, in my head, thought, well, yeah, because your backup bitch is always the one that's going to roll everybody.
Exactly.
Right? Like the ride or die that's going to show up with the shovel and the chainsaw and like make the body disappear. Yeah. So in my head, it made sense that I could be taller or bigger than she was.
Did you happen to recognize her from Kate and Allie?
Oh, I knew her from Annie. Like she played Annie on Broadway the longest. Yes. So yeah, of course. I saw her as Annie. So I knew Allison like before Kate. Like, oh no, I was totally fangirling out over her. Don't get yourself. So I'm like, oh my God, I love that total dweeb.
And at the time you were cast, did you go back and watch any of the Friday 13th or did you already have seen all of them?
No, see, remember, we're talking about like Blockbuster era, right? So you needed to go get it wasn't like now where you can go and Netflix it out. And I also didn't want to see them because I didn't want to have any like ideas about like, oh, I didn't want to. I didn't. Let's just put it that way. I did not see any of them.
And have you seen them since then?
No. Well, wait, but and again, we get that same sort of answer from people that have been in this series too, or they only have watched theirs. Did you were familiar with what Friday the 13th was though, right? And Jason and all that.
I knew the mask. I knew the hockey mask. I knew there was a mother issue. Exactly. Thank you. Thanks for pointing that out. I knew, I knew the idea of Friday the 13th, but I also knew that this one was different because New Line made it. And it didn't actually have Friday the 13th in the title. So there wasn't, I have subsequently watched them now that I met at the convention. I met Amy and Jensen Merrill. So I watched their Friday the 13th. But God, they're terrifying.
Yeah,
lava.
Well, the funny thing is, well, first off, going back to even if that IMDb trivia stat is true, the fact that if it's true that Sean Cunningham was like the one who was really pushing for you is such like an honor. He's like the father of the entire franchise. So the fact that he wanted you in that role is so awesome. But I've got to know, when you first read the full script for Jason Goes to Hell, what were your initial reactions to the whole body swapping aspect for Jason? And because that was totally new for the series at the time.
Right. And for me, I was like, well, again, when you read these things and you're not familiar with the genre, you're just like, what the fuck is this? Like, what? And like, they're going to like go after the baby. And I'm like, this is child abuse. Like, what are we doing? So when I first read the full script, I actually didn't understand it. And I thought, well, this is what directors are for, right? That's their job, is to make me understand it. And I knew I was working with an enormous crew of people like Leslie and Rusty and all these people that like knew what they were doing. And I just thought, just show up and do my job and just be like, because my character wouldn't know any of this either.
Of course,
right?
Yeah.
My character doesn't know she's related to Jason. My character doesn't know. So I actually thought it was better that I didn't understand it, because I would just be like, wait, what? Through the whole movie, which is pretty much what I do. Like, I'm not going down there and, what do you, like, he throws the knife at me and I catch it and like, the fuck?
Yeah, no, that's so true. Now that I think about it, it's like, if you really want to be true to your character, if your character doesn't know what's going on, then you shouldn't either.
Right. And so I thought it was, kind of ignorance is bliss and just roll with it.
That's totally, no, that makes a lot of sense. You also mentioned in Crystal Lake Memories that on your first day of shooting, you dropped a flashlight and it broke your toe. How did this happen? And did they have to push off shooting after that?
Oh, no. I didn't drop the flashlight. Stephen Culp dropped the flashlight. Oh. So there's a scene in the garage where I'm going to get a flashlight. The lights go down after the shower scene. I go into the car to get a flashlight. I come out, Steven's like, "Arr!" And the flashlight drops. Well, it was one of those big ass industrial flashlights, right? And I was barefoot and it fell on the top of my foot. And so it broke my toe. And no, they didn't push it off. There's like, the next scene is us coming out of the house where John throws me over his back and carries me down the driveway. Yeah, that happened because I couldn't run down the driveway. So John had to carry me, and I'm supposed to be kicking. And John is not much more tall. Like, he's not much taller than I am. And they did it like 16 times. Oh. So the whole time I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm like, John, I'm so sorry. Cause like, he had to run a pretty good distance with me over his back. No, they didn't stop shooting at all. And like, just wrap my toe up and off you go.
But like, weren't you feeling the effects of that for days afterward? Like,
well, yeah, of course. But when you're on a movie set and you've never been on a movie set, they could probably chop your arm off. You'd be like, I'm good. Let's go. Same thing. Like, there's a scene where I dropped down to get the dagger in the house. I totally blew out my ankle. Totally twisted my ankle because I dropped down like 9 feet. I didn't just drop, like, I'm hanging on a set thing and they wanted to get the whole drop down and then
Oh my God.
Oh, I'm so beat up after this.
I am surprised they didn't use a stunt woman for that.
No. No, they don't have stunt babies. They don't have stunt people. Yeah. And I think it was one of those things like I'm really tall and it doesn't look like it's that far, right? And it's like I land and da 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 da. And it's much easier to just have the camera follow me.
Was that a real house set or was that on a soundstage?
Okay, no, that was all soundstage. No, the real house is the house that you see where at the very end of the movie with the jungle gym scene, and that's a real house off of Cheeseboro and up the freeway area.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that scene where the whole flashlight incident happened, even though it takes late in the movie, you mentioned that that was the first.
It was
scene
one of the first days of shooting. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it was opposite, like you said, Stephen Culp, who played your TV reporter boyfriend Robert, and he's trying to shove that big, disgusting black tongue in your mouth because he's possessed by Jason. So I've got to know, what did they use for that tongue, and what was it like filming that scene?
Well, he doesn't actually. Oh my God! You know what? I just have to remember this now. They had a prosthetic. I don't know that I ever got that they ever show it coming out of his mouth towards me. I think that that's a cheat for like the next ones. I think that what John's character Stephen comes in before Robert gets that far in the situation with me, because then he goes and jumps in the sheriff's body, right? Because he goes to that, and then Edna gets her head smashed in, right? Yeah. No, I don't think I don't think he got to that point. I think I just flashed the light and I go, Robert, and he, then hell breaks loose.
And you also
cut away.
You also worked with a baby. What was the baby unpredictable?
No. Okay, here's the deal. Brooke Shear, who played the baby, was young. First of all, she was the cutest, sweetest thing on the planet. It was crazy. And she was just like this. They had a couple of babies, but anytime they were really working, they worked with Brooke. But there is a scene where I jump over a table and slide across the table. And then I put the baby down at one point, and then I go get the dagger because and that was a real baby. And I was like, maybe we should maybe not use a real baby. And so that was that got changed around a little bit, but no, she was just like this sort of like la 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 la, the cutest thing ever. Now she's like all grown up.
Yeah, that's so crazy. I mean, because we always think obviously you can't give direction to a baby, so it's like, how are you gonna know?
It's like she knew what she comes from a family where this is in her blood too. So it was funny because the scene with Kip, and maybe I'm jumping ahead and you can tell me not to jump ahead, where Kip is trying to put the thing in, and it was like, the shot of her was like, oh my God, that's the coolest thing ever. She, and she was 6 months old. I mean, she was really I don't even know how developed her eyes were at that point to notice what was, happening. She slept, and when they needed her on set. And remember too, with babies, they can only work 10, 15 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
So, and when she was on, man.
I love that she was working. Yeah.
She was working it.
Well, so you also stated in the book that you were kind of the rookie on set and felt like you were going to get fired every day. What made you feel that way?
Because you catastrophize. It's the imposter syndrome. Meryl Streep has won how many Oscars, and will turn around and say any day they're going to figure out I don't know what I'm doing, right? Because everybody had careers, major careers, but me, I had the Prince of Pennsylvania. Thank you and good night. So, so there's always this that's just, I think it's just normal. I think actors think that way and feel that way. If you have an Oscar or an Emmy or a Tony or anything, I just think you feel like they're going to figure out that I don't belong here sooner or later, and then I'm going to get fired. But I think after the first week, you're like, well, now it'd just be really expensive to fire. So go for it.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like the other actors, like, they're not going to fire you. You're too expensive to fire at this point.
We can't do reshoots. We're good. No.
We can't do pickups.
Yeah. So, if it's okay, we were hoping we could ask you about working with director Adam Marcus, because I know there were some issues while shooting the film. To summarize just really quickly what we learned in Crystal Lake Memories, there was the conflict over doing nudity during your shower scene, the neck injury I think you suffered when you that wasn't really taken seriously, and then your agent got involved, and then it all resulted in Sean Cunningham stepping in to direct the last couple of scenes. So, can you take us through like what really happened with all of that, just to clear everything up, and how did it lead to Sean Cunningham directing those last few days?
This is one of those situations where you don't learn about things until way after, and you're like, wait, what the fuck happened? Wait, what? So, we're talking about like the last couple of days of shooting. There is a scene where like I roll into a tree and I hurt my neck. And I just was like, oh, I hurt my neck. My neck doesn't feel good. There wasn't any like catastrophic up until the nude scene never happened. Clearly, I'm in the shower. I had Dixie cups on. It didn't happen. A lot of this stuff got really like, I think the game phone where like one person said something. I did not realize, like I did get hurt a lot and I didn't realize. And then when I said to my agent, like in a conversation, like, oh, I really hurt my neck, I didn't imply, and he blew up and then he got involved and then things spiraled out and I showed up to work and it was like, I know, there was some beef with Adam, but like, I didn't know it was like, I think it got way blown out, way bigger than I felt at the time. I wasn't like, oh, fire him, get him off the job. There was like 3 days left of shooting. It wasn't like, it was nothing. And I think what happened is that I think sometimes agents get involved and they want to be big man on campus. And then all I did, like Sean was going to like direct the last couple of days and Adam was doing something else. And that happens a lot, that happens a lot on sets when you're doing A roll, B roll, where like, so-and-so celebrities on set. So like the camera guy or so-and-so is going to, just do these pickup shots. And there wasn't anything major left that we were shooting. It was just a kiss and a walk. Like the scene where John and I kiss at the very end of the movie when they're trying to drag him into hell, I think. And then we're walking away. So it wouldn't have occurred to me like there was some big major problem. And I didn't find out about this big major problem until like 2 years later and the book came out. My birthday was wrong. And I was like, oh, wow, I didn't know that was a thing. So I felt really bad because I never felt bad towards Adam. I never thought anything, he was a young director and doing what, I had no point of reference.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like I'd been on other movies and I can say, oh, this is a terrible director or this is a great director. I had no point of reference. Yeah. So it's so unfortunate that this is still something that's talked about, but I think Adam was great. I didn't have a problem. Like, I think some other people got involved and I was just like, okay.
And what's your relationship with Adam now?
Well, I saw Adam for the first time at
Crystal Lake Nightmares?
Thank you.
Yeah, the 45th.
I was about to say a different thing and that would have been really bad. Yeah, and like it was the first time I saw him and I hugged him and I was like, hey, how you doing? I met, chatted with his wife and, it was just like a high school reunion of sorts because I hadn't seen John in 30 years. I hadn't seen Adam Adam Marcus and Adam or Brooke or Andy Block or Stephen Williams. That's my English. I saw Kane Hodder at another convention because I haven't done any of these and forever and ever and ever. And a friend was like, you should go back and do the conventions. They're really fun. And so this was only the second convention I'd ever done was Memories of Crystal Lake.
Oh, how lucky are we?
I know. I was just going to say, and for people listening, we got to meet in person, Kari Keegan. We were very excited, and then we talked to her about getting her on the show. But so, yeah. I mean, there's so many conventions. I mean, let me tell you, there is an audience. You could be doing this all year round every year if you want.
I got an agent just for that reason. Jensen and Amy Steele were like, oh my God, because when we did this convention, like there's, panels that you do and all these, photo ops and all this stuff. And I was just like, where we go? Okay, we're going over here. Okay, we're going over here. So, and it was fun because John and I just sat like, because we had seen it. Like, we have kids and our kids are grown up and, our whole lives. And now it's back, to the 45th anniversary. And you're like, because you don't think to yourself, who cares? Like, they did a movie 33 years ago.
It's so awesome because
Friday the 13th people care very much.
Oh, they're
classics forever.
Yeah.
Everyone's a faithful person to every single film.
Yeah, it's true through the whole franchise. And also I was going to say, well, first off, thank you so much for kind of setting the record straight on all those things. Cause I know like between IMDb books and things, I wish I had my IMDb birthday because it says my birthday is like a couple of years later than it actually is. I'm like, yeah, can we have that? Can that stick? My birthday isn't in April, and I wasn't born in 1968. I think that's so funny. That like, how does that like? I don't even know
any. Like my mother's birthday is in April, but it's not even my mom's birthday. So it's like this weird. There was all kinds of it's weird. Like I wasn't born in 1968.
But I got to tell you also another cool thing about conventions, like when you do these panels, is that for every time someone asks you about this like conflict, you can always you guys can clear it out and be like, no, this isn't how it all happened.
It was a game of telephone for like 30 some years.
Yeah, well, and that's sad. Isn't that such a bummer? Like that's just it makes me sad in a way because it's like, it was a great experience. There was like Leslie Jordan and Rusty Schwimmer and Allison Smith and Stephen Williams. How bad could your life have been?
And Aaron Gray.
Laughing your fucking head off every day.
Yeah, but you know what? Like, yes, it sucks that all these years have gone by and this all was out there. But now the way I look at it, trying to see the silver lining, is that now you have the rest of your life to set the record straight and have fun with these people and not think about all of the stuff from the past. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
or not think about the fake controversy or the false types of
non-existent
controversy. Yeah. Although there is one other thing I have to ask you about because I read that in your shower scene you were crying because the water was so hot and you were truly in pain. Is that true?
Sort of. One of the takes, it was a little on the toasty side, but then they fixed it immediately. So it was, it was not, I don't think I was acting. See, there's this thing that they tell you to do when you become an actor, that you act and like, you don't really need to cry because the water's burning the skin off your body. No, I mean, see again, like, but that's much more interesting that she was just acting, isn't it?
You mean it's like I'm surprised at this point they haven't said Adam Marcus specifically turned the temperature up on you to burn
Adam Marcus made sure that she had 3-degree burns.
Yeah,
That's
hilarious.
I mean,
okay,
we walked in together at the premiere. So if it was such a hate fest, why would I have walked in with him?
Yeah,
why would I have been like, no fucking way?
Yeah, that's so funny.
Like, if I was in such a state of like disarray, if you will, or discombobulation, or my agent was at the premiere, why wouldn't he said, absolutely not? Like this.
Stay away,
Satan. You know what I mean? And we were smiling and laughing. So I guess again, like when I heard about it some years later, I'm like, wait, what? What? That's a thing. Like, who said that? And again, I was real busy for, a couple decades doing my other wife thing, that I was shocked when like a couple of, years ago, somebody, did you know? I'm like, oh, who did that? Kari Keegan? She's such a bitch. And they're like, oh, that's you. And I'm like, yeah, none of that didn't happen. Or at least that's not the way I remember it. If Adam remembers is something different, or Sean, I'm not going to fault anybody what they remember, but that certainly wasn't like what I remembered.
You said you saw Adam at the Crystal Lake Nightmares convention. Did you also see Sean Cunningham? Did you get to say hi?
I saw Sean and Jessica and Noel. I mean, my character is named after Jessica, after Sean's daughter, Jessica.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and Noel was on the set. So it was like, and they were like babies then.
Yeah, I mean, Adam was 23, right?
I think he turned 24.
Oh my god.
Because I was 26, 20, I don't remember how old I was. But I was like a year or two older. And, Sean was on the set all the time.
Yeah.
So, it didn't occur to me that just didn't occur.
Yeah.
So I just have to get this straight. You've never seen the original Friday 13th?
I'm sure I have. Now I feel
Mrs. Voorhees?
Yeah, with Betsy Palmer.
We're going to have to invite you to a screening, Carrie.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all great films, but
the original, I will say that you'll watch it and be like, it's so different than even the rest of the series because there's no Jason it's all his mother.
Right. Isn't Amy Steele the first one where there's Jason Mask?
Yes. She's in part 2.
Isn't that the most popular Friday the 13th? Isn't that the one that people like the most?
One of the most popular sequel. I think it's definitely one of the top ones.
The Mask is not
Friday the 13th.
Yeah,
I mean, specifically these ones.
Yeah.
I mean, people love part 2, but the Mask was introduced in part 3 in 3D.
Yeah.
Oh.
We're giving you a nice little 101 on Friday.
I just know that people don't like Jason Goes to Hell. They love to tell you that.
Well, people also did not like part 5, but now I would say part 5 and Jason Goes to Hell are very loved because people rediscover, and the films tried something new, which the other ones, were like scary driven.
They become cult classics after time periods. After that initial negative reaction, people start to come around to them.
It's like in the Halloween series, there's one that has nothing to do with Michael Myers' Season of the Witch, and now everyone loves Season of the Witch.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I think, it's funny because, when I did the one convention last year, people would walk and go, this is the worst Friday the 13th. I go, so I've been told. But we love you. And I'm like, well, fantastic. And I get it, because it's there. Jason isn't in it enough. Do you know what I mean? The Mask isn't in it enough. But I think there's so many Easter eggs in ours. There's so many. The fact that Jason kills Jason. Hello. There's, the writer's in it, the director's in it, Sean's in it, Adam's in it. I mean, not Sean, but Dean Lorry's in it. There's lots of I call Easter eggs that I think are really, really fun. And I always joke about the fact that I'm related to Jason and that I have stabbing issues and, where is she now? She's in therapy and the daughter has stabbing issues and all the knives are locked up and, all that sort of fun stuff.
So we want to play a fun little game with you related to your Jason Goes to Hell co-stars, where you just have to answer some simple questions. Don't worry, it's not trivia or anything. You just have to answer with the name of the co-star who fits the question best. Now, again,
it's just tell me there was going to be a test.
No. It's just opinion based. It's opinion based. It's opinion.
Okay.
And so it can be any of your Jason Goes to Hell co-stars, but the ones that, you shared the most screen time with were Stephen Culp, John D. LeMay, obviously, who played your ex, Stephen, Allison Smith, who played Vicky, Stephen Williams, who played Creighton Duke, and Rusty Schwimmer and Leslie Jordan, who ran the diner. Among these co-stars, who was the biggest jokester on set while filming?
Leslie Jordan.
That makes sense.
Who was the most reserved?
Stephen Culp.
Really? Mm-hmm. Who flirted the most with other people? If anyone.
Rusty Schwimmer.
Rusty Schwimmer did? That's hilarious.
Big old flirty flirt.
Who improvised the most?
Oh, that's hard. I'd say I think that's a big tie between Rusty and Leslie and Steven or John LeMay and I. Oh. I think there are a lot of things that happen that we improvise, like in the diner scene. When I say and there's bloopers that made it in the movie. So here, I'll give you a fun one. There's in this scene where I pick up the napkins and I swing it at Rusty, I came this close to hitting her actual face. And I could literally feel it clipped her nose and you could see me go, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, because I was literally terrified that I nearly hit her. That there was just my hair was a big problem on the set because I have really curly hair, not straight hair. And you see me rip off and put my hair in a ponytail because hair and makeup couldn't take it one day longer. And we shot in the summer. So they were like, we can't, with the flat iron in between every take, get her hair straight. So that's when the hair went up in a ponytail. So it was improvising stuff like that. And Adam was really good about that too. There's bloopers. There's a scene in the car where I smash Steven's head into the steering wheel and there's supposed to be a pad there. Mm-hmm. There wasn't.
Oh, and
God.
I smashed his head and he had across his head. And then I go to punch him and I got very close to actually.
everybody is getting hurt on this set.
Oh,
Jesus.
everybody got beat up.
Oh my God. Okay. Who had the strongest opinions about how they wanted to play their character?
Kip.
Okay.
Who did you hang out the most when you weren't filming?
John and Leslie and Rusty. When Rusty and Leslie were on set, we were like a little pod, and then definitely Allison and John and I like hung out like in each other's rooms or trailers all the time. Yeah.
That's cool. Who did you keep in touch with the most after the film wrapped?
Probably John and Leslie. Leslie and I were friends, and Rusty and I did a couple of commercials after that together. But I would say friend, like who I like stayed in contact the longest with was probably Leslie, because we lived near each other. So we would see each other a lot more. And John, yeah. And Allison went back to New York because I think then she did the West Wing. Well, maybe that was later. I can't remember. But yeah, Rusty, Leslie, and John.
Who do you get asked most about to this day?
Who do I get asked most? Kane. About
yes.
Jason.
Sense.
Like, what's he like in real life? What was he like in real life? Because when he was so great. Like when he was in Jason character, nobody talked to him. Like he did not interact with the cast or crew. He just stayed off to himself. But then when he was playing the FBI agent, he was like super fun, and he's a really fun guy. He's such a nice guy.
No, I mean, we've heard that from other people who've worked with him. And moving on, speaking to that big climactic finale. Now, as I mentioned in the intro, you're the one who actually sends Jason to hell because you jump on his back from behind, you reach over with that magic dagger, stab him in the heart, then you end up kicking it in to solidify it. So how was all that done? Like, because you did I take it because they weren't stunt people. So how did they do the whole run jump thing? Was there like a stool you jumped on, or how did that happen?
There was a big, like what looked like a rock. So when you see the I don't know if they have the far away shot, you see me jump on the rock and come over. And Kane was, he was the stunt coordinator. So everything was very choreographed. Everything was very like when he throws me and I go flying backwards, that sort of stuff. So there's a big rock that I jump on to stab him. And, obviously the knife is not going to go.
You didn't really stab him?
No, it does a little contractual retraction.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Were there any scenes you remember filming that ended up being cut, or any big changes from like when you got the script to what ended up getting on the screen?
Scenes got added actually, because they added the scene on the phone with Aaron Gray and I, because you never saw Aaron Gray and I on screen together because Aaron Gray's like 5 years older than I am. So how she can play my mom? And that was because the person that was supposed to play my mom ended up like pulling out very late. And I believe, and I hope I'm not lying because I don't want to be like, oh my God, she's a liar. Sean and Aaron were really good friends. And so she stepped in, and you never see us. And then there were comments about that. So then they did a whole pickup and my hair was longer and blonder. So I have a baseball cap on and I'm talking to her on the phone right before she gets killed. So that got added. But no, I don't think anything was, I don't really think you could cut anything because the script is really tight and you have a really short window that you're filming. So I don't think so, no.
Not gonna lie, we do notice it's like your mom really does look like you guys are very close in age. I'm wondering who was meant to play that part first. I'm gonna go with Meryl Streep.
Yes,
Meryl Streep.
Oh my God, I don't know who was. I think it was. I don't remember, but I remember it being somebody that was on a soap opera that would look like they were like blonde like me and looked like my mom. And I was like, oh God, I wish.
I am a huge
Bold and the Beautiful.
I watched Bold and the Beautiful for like 20 plus years. I was going to ask you, like, did you ever get to meet Aaron Gray?
God, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I met Erin. She was on set, we did the diner scene. She was on set for the diner scene. Oh my, again, like just such a lovely, eloquent. Oh, I mean, dear God, she's just ridiculously beautiful.
Oh, totally. Well, you are too.
I know, so are you.
Anyhow, I'm just saying.
And after the movie wrapped, what was there a red carpet premiere for the cast and crew? And how did you feel seeing the movie for the first time on the big screen?
Yes, they did it at the at Chinese Theater, and it was on Friday the 13th, Friday the 13th, because they always premiere them on Friday the 13th. And it was a big old, it was like, I don't think I even remember because I think I was so like, what is this? And people ask, oh, I do remember was that I made the worst dress list because my friend and I decided that we were going to do that. So I wore this Ola Cassini very heavy sequin dress with Converse high tops that I believe Lindsay Lohan then copied like 10 years later, totally stole my look.
Oh my gosh, do you have a picture? I want to see.
I do. You know what? I don't have it I don't have it out.
Oh my God, if you can mail that to us, we would.
My mom had it framed and I was like, so horrified by that. Like, what? Like, I was excited to be in the National Enquirer, like, as the worst dressed. Don't get me wrong for one hot second. But, like, that she had it framed. I'm like, where do you think I'm going to hang this in my house? Like, are you, like, that's when people say, don't you have the poster hanging in your house? I'm like, have you seen the poster? Would you hang that in your house?
It was such a controversial poster because everyone was like, the alien thing.
The snake.
Yeah. They were like, I don't know, but I think it was too scary just for kids to be in the movie theater. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, okay. This is a funny story. Last night I went down to Orange County to go axe throwing because.
Oh, I love axe throwing. I did that for my birthday a few years ago.
Okay. So yeah, it's super fun, right?
Yeah.
So I went to this place called Slashers because it's all horror film.
Heard of it, yes.
I went with a friend, and we're checking in. You have to sign the waiver, right? And I'm like, well, we want to be in the Jason one. And the woman goes, well, of course you do. And I was like, okay, that's odd. And then you sign the waiver, and she goes, are you Kari Keegan? Like the Kari Keegan? And I'm thinking to myself, are you fucking kidding me? And I'm like, I'm a Kari Keegan. I don't know if I'm what you mean by the. And she's like, are you in part 9? And I'm like, this woman was like maybe 25, 26 years old. I'm like, shut the fuck up. How would you, in God's name, like, come on, this movie was 33 years ago. She's like, I just watched it like 2 weeks ago. And I just laughed because I'm thinking, when I did the movie, and now I go to like Orange County to Costa Mesa to like an axe throwing place. So it was very fun. It was very fun. They asked me to sign an axe. It was hilarious.
That's awesome.
One of these. Can I keep one of these axes?
I'm telling you though, like Tim said, I mean, like the Friday the 13th fan base is so committed, and they're committed to every movie, even if they don't like it. And so like they know, including us, like everyone who's been in every movie. So I'm not surprised, actually.
It's such a full circle moment for me because like I was working at a movie theater when this movie came out, and I
shut up. You were not.
Yes, I was 16, and I told my manager.
No, you were not. Did you see what you look like?
What?
Do you look like Dorian Gray somewhere?
Oh, that's so sweet. This Zoom is very nice.
No, I've seen you in real life. What? No, no. Okay, whatever. We'll talk about this off camera. Tell me what the beauty secrets are there.
But when I told my manager, I said, Jason Goes to Hell can't be, it was a 12-screen movie theater. I was like, it can't be in this small theater. It will sell out. I was like, put it in the biggest theater right now because it will be #1 at the box office. And my manager's like, no, it won't sell out. He goes, this is the 9th one. I was like, okay. And then I was right. And I love that like everyone was like, Tim. And I was like, I know.
You're like, Tim, tell me what to bet on in the horse races. No,
I know.
You go to Santa Anita. Can we go to Del Mar and you can start picking ponies for us and we'll all be like, money.
But I was like, this has a built-in audience. You make it, they will be there. Yeah.
You know, I mean, that is crazy because you don't realize it. Like when we are at a convention and somebody comes from Sweden or Japan and like they have your name on a Post-it note because they're waiting for that. It is, they're the coolest fans. I got to say, who knew?
Yeah. So I just wanted to ask, as we're talking about the fan base and all this, why, in your opinion, do you think the Friday the 13th franchise is so beloved among horror fans? I mean, even it's been 45 years since the original movie and is still so beloved and still moving on with the Jason universe. Why, in your opinion, do you think it is so monumental?
Oh, that is such an excellent question. And I wish I had an excellent answer for it. Other than I think that there's something about human beings that like to be scared. And there's something about the idea of like camp and that sort of thing, because everybody either went to camp, wanted to go to camp. So you're hitting on all kinds of sort of touchstones, mother-son issues, sex, all that sort of stuff. And it's like, if you're younger, you're like imagining like, what would it be like to go to camp and be running for your life, terrified. So I think there's something about it. And I think Sean was just really masterful about like the franchise and the different ways the stories, the different Fridays got laid out, that, you know, he had that magic juju, if you will, that just, he touched it, it turned to gold. And I mean, like, I don't know of other franchises within the horror film that have had, what, 11? Are there 11 Friday the 13th, 10, 13, you know, Friday the 13th?
12. Yeah.
There's 12. Sorry.
There's only one franchise that has beat it, and is the Halloween franchise with 13. Yeah.
That is a huge Halloween fan.
No, trust me, I love the Friday the 13th franchise. My favorite franchise, I can't believe I'm saying this to Kari Keegan in one of the Friday the 13th, is the Halloween franchise. Like, I saw the original when I was a kid and whatever, but between Halloween and Friday the 13th are really the most enduring franchises in horror, you know?
Right. And there hasn't been anything equivalent since, right? There's no, I know what you did last summer and, you know, the Conjuring and all, but they've never been able to sustain 45 years.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, I mean, if we're in a world of AI and all kinds of effects and all kinds of stuff that like they couldn't do 45 years ago, right? Like blood squirt in your mouth versus like what they can do now. Yeah. Like I sit there and I think about all of the prosthetics that were used in our Friday the 13th, from, you know, Edna's head getting smashed in, and they had to sit there with that on for hours with straws up their nose. Like, I remember Leslie Jordan talking about being claustrophobic, and they had to make a full body bust. And now they would just take a picture of you digitally and make it, and it would match. And that was not what they had to do back then. And you only got 1 or 2 takes to destroy that, you know, that object, because they couldn't make it again real quick like they can now. So like the artistry and the effects of Friday the 13th and the Halloweens it's so, I wish that, I think is the underplay of these types of movies that people don't understand, of like how hard it is to get and recreate the continuity of that, and how taxing it was for actors at that time, because they didn't just digitalize your face and then make a prosthetic. They used your actual face and made a mold of you, and the time that took is crazy.
Yeah, we've spoken to actors who've had to go under the mold and put the straws up their nose. It sounds like a claustrophobic nightmare.
I would have been fired immediately. I would have been like, absolutely not.
Well, and
when I saw that, I was like, oh God, no.
And by the way, your answer was excellent for why. I know you said you didn't have a prepared answer, but that makes a lot of sense for why people are. And you know, of course, everyone has a different reason for why this series is so beloved. But like, I always love hearing the people who are in it, like hearing their thoughts on it, just because like you were part of this thing that is endured for so long. It's just got to be crazy to think that a movie you did 30 something years ago is still being talked about so much.
Yeah. Talked about and like people are interested in, like, they, you know, what did you think of this? And you're like, really? Okay, cool. I mean, it's super fun. I have to say, you know, having not been in the business for 20 plus years, and all of a sudden you go back in and you're like, it's really fun. It's very flattering, and it's sweet, and the fans couldn't be any more adorable, and it's really fun.
I've got 2 questions. Did you get to meet just 2? And that's okay. It. Did you get to meet Michael B. Silver?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. He was the naked guy in the tent.
No, I did not work that day. So no, I didn't meet Michael. That's why I'm sitting here like, John did, because he picks them up in the car, but I wasn't working that day.
Oh, bummer. And my next question, what are you up to today?
Well, that is funny. I have decided to go back into the acting sphere. I started taking classes again. I'm at the Groundlings. I'm doing a little writing. I actually was talking with John about, wouldn't it be interesting to like have a whole, like, where are they now? Like, what happened to my character? What happened to my baby? What happened? Because we are like, I think it might be really fun to do like some sort of like final girl support group. Like, you know, Jamie Lee Curtis is the head of the support group. And like, you know, we meet on Sundays, not Friday the 13th or not on Halloween. And, you know, I think there could be a lot of something campy and fun that could be done in this. So I'm just sort of like, you know, I'm an empty nester now. I'm kind of hanging out, figuring out like what's that next chapter look like. And so let's see what this could do now.
That's a fun place to be.
Yeah, that's so cool.
I gotta tell you, it's a really fun place to be. It's like getting to be a teenager all over, except with a lot more wisdom.
Yeah, well, I mean, and so of course it sounds like I know the answer to this question, but we were going to ask if the powers that be ever wanted you to reprise the role of Jessica in a new Friday the 13th film, would you be up for it? Well, yeah.
100%. I think it'd be hilarious. Like I always joke, like, could you imagine if like Jessica was dating, like let's say Steven and Jessica didn't work out and she's in the support group guy, like, and then he took me to a hockey game. Can you believe it? He took me to a hockey game because like she gets triggered by a mask or the idea of knives, like, you know, like the daughter, you know, yeah, I had to go down to down to baby's school because, you know, she pulled out a knife again. Because I mean, think about it. I'm related. We're related. So there's got to be some jacked up genes going on in there.
I would love it. And let's cast the girl who actually was your baby in that movie.
Yeah, we're here, 100%. We walked up, John and I walked up to her at the convention because she was at the convention. And we were like, okay, so tell us about your life choices. What are you doing? Do we need to like have a parental intervention here? And like, we had so much fun with that because literally, I think I saw her when she was like 12 or 13 at something. And then like now she's like, she's a young woman. She's in her 30s. She's like, all grown up. So it's really fun.
How does she answer questions when people ask her? So what was it like? Because she can't remember. Like
she could have so much fun with that. She'd say, well, in therapy, I learned that I would sitcom that to no end if I were her. Like, well, you know, when they were doing my close up and I was like, wrong side. Because now you could do all those things with babies, right? Like you've seen those memes where babies walk around going, I'm calling grandma.
Yep.
You know, she could have been like, I'm walking off this set. Like she could have had a blast with that.
And did John ever talk about his Friday 13th days on the TV series? Because he did 3 years on the antique.
Like and it was funny because I remember him saying, have you ever seen the series? I'm like, no. And then we just like,
it had nothing to do with the movie. So it wasn't like anything related. Yeah.
Just a title.
Yeah.
Just a title. And I think too, like his girlfriend at the time and my boyfriend at the time, the four of us all became really good friends. So there were so many more things to talk about than that.
Oh.
Not cursed antiques?
Yeah, not what two horror nerds would ask him about.
You can't believe it.
If only we knew you then.
Exactly. Yeah. So we have one final question for you, Carrie, and you've been so great. Thank you so much for just everything that you have talked about and shared with us about this movie. And we ask this question to everyone we interview, and it's going to put you on the spot. But what
all
is
these tests?
I know. What is just one thing that you can tell us about your experience working on Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday, that you've never told any other interviewer, podcaster, convention Q&A, publication? Just one thing. It doesn't have to be big and gossipy.
Yeah, to be scandalous.
Unless you want it to be. Or it can just be a small detail that you've just never talked about because you didn't think people gave a shit. But like anything, just one thing that you've never told anyone about your experience working on this movie.
I gained 12 pounds. Craft Services was my friend, and I had to go up a size of Joppers towards the end of the movie. So there you go.
I love funny. Well, a lot of people love Craft Service because it's like
it's horrible. It is the greatest, worst thing ever. They start walking around with this food at like 3:00, and then we shot at night, so we shot all night long. So and Craft Services, I mean, they were amazing, obviously, if I gained 12 pounds. And I was running around. It probably wasn't 12 pounds. That's probably an exaggeration, but I gained weight. Yeah.
And when was the last time you saw the movie?
Oh, I know. Oh, I was about to lie. In 2023, they did a screening of it at the Montalban Theater on the rooftop, and I was a special guest for that. Oh, so I saw it then. I saw it then and I think one of my daughters saw it for the first time then too.
What did she think?
should they think like, wait, what? That's my mom. Like, what? Like, you were cool at one point? Like, what? You know?
Yeah. That's awesome.
So, yeah.
Oh, I love your, and you know what? It's not that crazy to think about because like craft services, you're having constant like meals and everything you want to eat. So of course you're going to partake. I would.
It's not just the meals. They walk around with snacks. Like they make chocolate chip cookies and cappuccinos and popcorn balls. And like you grow up thinking, oh, I'm rude if I say no. And I used to say, how are actresses thin when all you do, they're just feeding you and if you've never made a movie, it's hurry up and wait.
Yeah.
So get you in makeup, get you into and then 45 minutes for lighting and the smoke machines and the this and the that. And then you're actually on the set for like 45 seconds because you say 3 lines of dialogue and then you go away till they do the next setup. And then they're just feeding you while you're sitting around doing nothing.
Yeah.
So it's glamorous.
Yeah.
It's so glamorous.
You're eating popcorn balls, you're waiting.
That is my biggest weakness is chocolate chip cookies. Like
Oh no, and like this woman made these chocolate chip cookies with walnuts in them with a sprinkle of cinnamon that you were like, what the fuck is this in my mouth? It's the greatest thing ever. And you're like, one, I'll take 10, and then you go get the big old glass of milk and you're off to the races.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That sounds like heaven to me.
It was like really people say, what's the greatest part about being an actress? Somebody does your hair, your makeup, and they feed you.
Yeah.
I mean,
And then you just have to go talk for a couple of minutes and then they fix your hair, your makeup, and they feed you more.
Wait, your hair looks beautiful.
Yeah. Well,
and I didn't even have anybody to do it.
You're like, yeah, wow. Well, Carrie, thank you so much for taking the time with us. We've had you are so much fun. Yeah. Like I seriously, I want to go and like hang out.
Oh my gosh, I feel like
hang out. Let's go axe throwing. We'll talk off camera. We'll make a plan and we'll go axe throwing.
Oh my God. I want to go to that Slasher's place now that you mentioned it.
It's in Costa Mesa.
Oh my God.
You'll jump in my Jeep. We'll all go together. We'll make a party of it.
That sounds amazing. Oh my God.
You guys said it. You guys, all you people just heard what they said, right? There's no takesy backsies now.
Yeah, I know.
I'm actually very good at axe though.
He is really good because he was at my birthday.
Maybe it's my gay limp wrist. Who knows?
No, you got to keep that shit square. I did the double with a big axe last night. I was like, the first time I did it, I was like, oh, bullseye, bullseye, bullseye. Yesterday, I was like, yeah, you're trying to impress some people. They're like, yeah, you got nothing. You got no game, girly. Then they gave me the big old double-handled axe. I was doing this. I was like, oh, there's my party. That's my jam.
You know what I think is funny is that they limit the amount of drinks you're allowed to have, like while doing it, or at least at the place I went to.
I don't drink, but like I drink a non-alcoholic beer or Diet Coke. But because when you're handling weapons, you gotta have it together. You can't
exactly. So at my birthday, I was like, okay, we get like 2 drinks each, and I totally understand why because we're holding axes.
Yeah,
when you're holding a weapon, like you don't and like you get all I get it. Totally.
You get all Jason.
Yeah. Get all Jason in.
I don't axe Jason. I stab him. So I was a little out of my my weaponry.
Did you get to keep it?
The dagger?
Did I what?
Yeah. Did you get to keep the dagger?
No. God, I wish. I tried to steal one of the mock ones. But that's actually real quick. That's a really funny story because when Stephen Williams first threw it to me, I was holding the baby. And it was a real knife that he threw. And I was like, hey, you know what? We're going to put the baby down. So then you see me turn around and put the baby down. Then he throws it, I was very, very lucky that my eye-hand coordination is as good as it is because I caught both of them on the first try. Then I couldn't catch them again.
Oh, good. They got it.
I have to catch them like this, right? I have to catch it past me. And then, there was glass and broke one of the windows right away and went right into the window. We're like, okay, that's a problem.
Well, what if so it was a real knife you had to catch, but what if you had accidentally grabbed the blade part? You would have sliced your hand? Wow.
She's like, anything for art.
I'm just saying, there was a reason I dated a quarterback in high school. I got real good with real good at catching things on the. But yeah, no, well, there was like, these are the things that you go, exactly. What would have happened if she grabbed the blade instead? But nobody thought that one through.
They're like, we're good. She'll catch it.
Lop her finger off. It's all right.
She's got 9 others.
Yeah. Don't miss. I remember still going, don't miss. And I'm like, oh, okay. you know, and I mean, like, they tossed it like in a way that I could print. I mean, we practiced with a piece of wood.
Yeah.
And when he threw the rope, I didn't even think about that now.
I know. Well, I mean, that's the first thing I would think about. I'd be like, no.
And see, the actress in me goes, I'll do whatever. What do you want? What do you want? I can do what? I can catch it. Catch it with my teeth? Okay.
Catch it with my teeth. Do a double flip. Yeah, I know. Oh, well, yes. Well, we definitely want to stay in touch, Carrie. And thank you so much again for your time, for talking about all of this. It makes our day to like get to talk to you about this movie. We're big fans. So thank you.
I'm big fans of you guys. Thank you. Have a great day.
Okay, well, take care. We'll talk soon, okay? Okay, bye.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Happy Horror Time.
If you'd like to support the podcast, please sign up to be a patron at www.patreon.com/happyhorrortime. As a patron, you get access to all our bonus content, which now includes 2 new bonus episodes every month, a monthly after-show mini episode, access to our Discord community so you can chat with us directly, and the chance to review a film with us in one of our bonus episodes.
Patrons also get all our regular episodes ad-free and a day early, our monthly newsletter, the chance to vote in polls, and autographed Happy Horror Time stickers.
I'm Matt Emmert.
And I'm Tim Murdoch.
And we hope you have a happy horror time.